Welcome to the Raven Space Podcast. This is episode 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're super excited. Episode 1 went really well. My name is Jason.
My name's Steven.
And we have some great topics for you guys. We have news. We have another game we're going to play. We're going to talk about the first preseason game, the Ravens versus the Redskins. We're going to answer some mailbag questions at the end as well. Please subscribe to Raven Space on YouTube if you're not subscribed. We have this podcast available on iTunes and SoundCloud. Special shout out to our Patreon subscribers because without you guys, none of this is possible. So we'll hop right into the first news topic of the day. So the Ravens cut Crockett Gilmore, and this was the most surprising news of the week for me. Personally, it's hard to see a person with so much potential get cut.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I mean, like I said last week, every time he's on the field, he's good, and it stinks. But I think, they might bring him back. I mean, there's a chance. Sometimes that happens just to make room, on the roster for right now. I mean, who's going to pick him up? Right now he's hurt. Mm-hmm. Somebody might grab him just for the potential, but it's a long shot. I mean, they may have made some sort of deal with him. We'll cut you now, but we'll bring you. They did it with Campanaro probably like 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, it's like I've done some videos and different things like that where I said that he was one of the players that had a real chance of breaking out if he stayed healthy, but he just. He couldn't stay healthy. And it's sad, man. Something, I don't know what's up with the Ravens, but these injuries are killing me now.
Yeah, they really are.
Last week was bad. This week is even worse. But again, Crockett Gilmore got cut. Super shocking news to me. But that does go into the next story as well, where they cleared up cap space. Mm-hmm. They signed the offensive tackle Austin Howard, formerly of the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, which tells me that they might feel good about their center position and not so much about James Hurst. Mm-hmm. They might feel, they definitely feel like this is an upgrade. They've got to. But I mean, the Raiders had a pretty good line last year. So, it's definitely an upgrade. And if they feel good about the center position, I think we have a real shot at having a solid line.
I think the Raiders had, in my opinion, the second best offensive line last year behind the Cowboys.
Right.
I thought that they played excellent. And a lot of that was, Osemele, good old Osemele, who played well. But I think Austin Howard is a good veteran. Now, can you just imagine if we got Austin Howard and we go get a Nick Mangold?
Right. Then that sets that line at a different level.
It takes us from bad, I think, to good very quickly. I don't know how great it's going to be with the older players, but with Marshall Yonder, Ronnie Stanley, Alex Lewis, who I still have some precaution about, but then you add Mangold and Howard in there, that's no joke line. You can run the ball with that line. So,
which kind of throws in Siragusa in there. Him being out for the season.
Yeah, so that news is sad. So Siragusa, rookie, I believe 5th round.
Or 4th?
Maybe 4th, I don't remember. But tore his ACL, his MCL, and his PCL.
He's lucky if he ever comes back. And didn't he have history of doing that in the past? I'm not really sure.
I knew he had some injury issues, but to tear all 3 like that?
Yeah, that hurt.
So, like I said, it was a sad day. John Harbaugh did say he was out for the season, and hopefully he'll be back next year for training camp. But after injury like that, are you really the same? He was already a player that was going to have to work hard to be one of the better guards in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And now with this injury, I just don't know.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, to start your career like that, how often do we see that happen, though? I mean, it just seems like, what do you blame it on? I don't know. But, it stinks. But I think that we'll move on from it. The chances of him even starting were probably slim. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was really mostly depth more than anything. And to have him see the field probably meant that our line was already seeing injuries. So, I don't think it's not Yonda, so I don't think freak out just yet about it. It does suck, but a lot of injuries.
We have more. So Larry Donnell, who was just signed like 8 days ago, injured his hand from what John Harbaugh said, was making a diving catch got the ball caught under his hand and then injured his fingers.
Did you see what the severity of that was? Because I didn't.
They did not say yet.
Right. Okay.
So we're gonna see. It's just these injuries, man. It's back in the day. I guess people just play with the injuries, but
yeah, I don't know. The NFL says they're trying to work towards making it a safer game, but it seems like we see more injuries.
Yeah.
And I mean, last week I said it's jumping the gun, and I think it still is kind of, because like I said, it is a lot of injuries. It's a lot of injuries, right. But again, it's not Brandon Williams. It's not Suggs yet. It's not Jimmy Smith yet. It's not Weddle. It's not, Flacco did get hurt, but he's not supposed to be out for the year.
Yeah. It's
not, like I said, Yanda. It's not Wallace. It's not our major players. There are some key players that had potential that got hurt, but I feel better more about that than if we were to lose. We did lose probably the 2 top tight ends, in my opinion, already. And Tavon Young. So big hits, but yeah, I think their production is replaceable. I think we'll be okay. Dixon's a big thing, but again, another player that has potential that you don't know is going to play well. We know Flacco's going to play well. We know that our receivers are going to play well. We know that Jimmy Smith's going to play well, and our safeties. We know that they're going to play well. So if they go down and then we have a questionable guy in there, that's a different story.
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too. I agree, but I'm trying to stay calm about it. I really am.
I understand. And then that goes into, I guess, the last news story of the day. Rashard Perriman, glass legs himself.
Did we have anything that wasn't injuries?
We had the sign of
Howard. Yeah, okay.
Yes. But man, Rashard, I told you guys last week, I'm scared, man. This guy gets hit. He comes down wrong.
And I just said last week that I didn't think he was injury prone, and I still don't. I think it was a hamstring, so I don't think it's a major thing, and I don't think it has anything to do. I don't know anything about medical stuff, but I don't think it has anything to do with his previous injury, his chronic knee thing that he's had throughout his life. I don't think that has too much correlation, but I don't think, and the hamstring's minor normally, so, he might get right back into it and he should be all right. But, just hit after hit.
Hit after hit after hit, and I feel like they won't stop coming.
Well, it's not even the start of the season yet, and that's when it's going to get worse.
I know, because you still have preseason games to play because, someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I would be, if I was John, I would, football players don't think like this, and I understand why. I would take precaution, but they don't think like that. They go out and play. Mm-hmm. They want to play football. So we'll see. Hopefully no one gets hurt anymore. But,
can't get through the season without it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. Even though it's not, like I said, major players, some are, but they were depth players, a lot of them. And so it's like now we're real thin in a lot of positions. So we can't really take a big hit to anything. If Brandon Williams goes down, what's their run defense going to be like?
Yeah. Oof, I don't even want to think about that. So, like I said, guys, you guys let me know. Let me and Steven know in the comments or on iTunes, what's the, biggest news of the week so far. Well, not so far, biggest news of the week. And we're going to go into our next segment. But first, I want to say, please check out ravenspace.com. Super dope website. We have writers who write some great content. We post all our videos there. We have our podcast there. Mm-hmm. Raven Space t-shirts shop, and also one of the big things, our fan forum, where fans get to come and talk to everybody, talk to each other,
talk to us.
It's super dope. I saw you were very active in it, so
yeah, I'll be there.
So it'll be awesome.
And Patreon subscribers, they'll get content on the website quicker than anybody else. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, you can go on there and get hype videos and podcasts early. Anything other than the daily, you'll get early. So check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Exclusive articles and everything. So
and that too.
So now we're going to get to really the meat and potatoes of the podcast. We're going to talk about the game coming up on Thursday. Redskins, Ravens, the Battle of the Beltway, as we call it in Baltimore. So I'm excited. Even though it's a preseason game, and I know I won't see the starters, I love football, so I'm excited.
See, football's here, and that's where it starts.
It's where it starts. So, you guys watching, we're going to try some things with the first preseason game. We're going to do a live cast. I'm not going to show the game, of course, because I know that's illegal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be there talking to you guys. You guys will see my reactions, how I feel in the moment of the game. Steven, are you going to the game, do you think?
Yes.
You are. So Steven's going to be at the game. He'll be giving great pictures on Twitter, all that good stuff. So, again, we're going to have you guys covered on all fronts. That's the plan.
Yep.
So, let's hop into the game. Let's just go for a general preview. What are you expecting to see?
I'm not really quite sure. Preseason's hard. I mean, it's the same thing as talking about practice. I think it might, maybe not last year, but we've normally gone pretty well in the preseason, and we've gone undefeated, and it's like, oh, what's this team going to be like? And it's not the same. It's never the same as you see it in the regular season. Starters aren't playing on both sides, so it's not the full team. So I'm not really sure what to expect. I really don't. I think we could see an awful team not ready to hit the field, or we could see a team explosive. It's really tough to see, really tough to tell. But I'm not even sure who the Redskins quarterback this year.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
right.
Of course, he won't be playing.
Right, okay.
But I think he's maybe one of the third highest paid quarterback now because of the
right. That's true. That's true. I forgot about that. All right.
But what are you going to be looking for though? The game's going to be going on. What are you interested to see? What are you to watch?
I think the running back position. That's going to be just fun to watch how that plays out and how much Woodhead's running out of the backfield. I think with Dixon going down for the year, he's going to have to take a lot more, handles. So I don't know under West who that other guy is going to be. I really don't. I mean, they're talking about using Allen as a fullback. I think it was Allen, right?
Telefero? I don't know.
Yeah. So, I'm not really sure, what they're going to be doing there, how often they're going to be using the fullback position. But I think that's going to be an interesting position to watch. I really do. What about you?
So I think the thing that I'll be able to get the most into is the pass rushers. I do think Tyus is going to play. Tyus Bowser.
Of course.
And Williams is going to play. And I do think Matthew Dawn's going to play.
Yeah, well, he will. Yeah.
And so I want to see who is most effective at getting to that quarterback. And I don't necessarily need to see sacks, but I would like to see some pressure.
Pressure. And that's another thing I was going to talk about was defensive schemes. The way we're blitzing, who we're bringing up to the line, that sort of thing. And also the cornerback position. They put Marlon in the slot. They were using Marlon in the slot, and
awesome.
yeah. I mean, I'm interested in it, but I saw Webb in there a bit, and I think Pease talked about that in one of his press conferences, talking about putting Webb up there. And I don't know how I feel about that. I like Webb, but he's at the end of his career, and I don't know how much he's going to be able to cover in that slot.
We have to be frank. I mean, when he was in the cornerback 2 years ago, he was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, terrible.
Ever since he hurt his knee, I think, he hasn't been the same.
But when he put him at safety last year, though, I thought he was awesome. I thought
he did well.
Was good. But when at corner, when you got to go and cover those people, no hope. No hope, right?
Right.
If Antonio Brown's in the slot, no hope.
Yeah.
I mean, so hopefully I would be more confident with Marlon in there.
But he's a rookie. And you remember how bad Jimmy Smith was, right? When he was a rookie.
Yeah, he used to bite on everything. So yeah, I do. Hopefully, I'm excited. I am excited. I want to see how Marlon looks because everyone's saying he looks like a pro already. I want to see how he looks. Yeah.
Was there anything else you're waiting to look at? And
I want to see Ryan Mallett in all his glory.
I don't have a lot of faith.
I don't either, but a back injury is a real thing. Joe did get hurt, and now I want to see if Ryan Mallett can actually play this. Can he play this game when it's moving and people are, attacking him? Because I know he can't do it as a starter. Can't do it against lesser competition. Because if he plays terrible against the second stringers,
Yeah.
Well, you got to make some calls, right? Now you got to go get another quarterback, right?
Yeah.
If he's terrible against first stringers, you can say he's a backup. We'll coach him when he gets to that point.
Yeah.
This and this. But
I mean, he when we put him in when Flacco was hurt, he played well.
He did play well. He beat. I was at the game.
I'm not a believer, but he played well.
I was at the game when he beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's awesome. So, we'll move into who do you think is going to be the X factor? Who are your X factors for this game? Who's going to make a big difference?
So my first one is going to be Tim White. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw that they posted the depth chart on the website. We'll probably cover that on our website. And Tim White's real low. He's real low on there. And Campanaro is up there, which, I really like Camp, and they must really like him. Mm-hmm. But he's real low, and the only way he's going to make the team is he's got to show himself on special teams. Mm-hmm. He's got to be a good returner, because they're not going to take somebody in that fifth or sixth that can't do multiple things, that can also return if they need him to. So if he can return, he has a chance to make the team. And I liked what I saw out of him. I saw a lot of people talking about his ability and, to look out for him. So, and just seeing him in practice, I mean, maybe it was just a one-time thing. Maybe he's not shining in every practice, but he shined in that practice. He was a standout. So
I'm excited about this kid, man. It's seldom that you see a kid with speed and suddenness. Mm-hmm. And, I think, like, for example, Michael Campanaro has some suddenness to him, but, he has an okay speed. I think Chris Moore.
I think he's pretty quick.
I think he's quick. Quick is the right word, but I don't know if he runs a 4.240.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
And so I think, and Chris Moore has the opposite problem, where I think he is fast, but he's not quick. He doesn't have that suddenness. Mm-hmm. I think this boy has it both. Yeah. When you see him run routes
and hands.
Oh, yeah, and hands. You slip sometimes in the draft. I think the Ravens have a good one. And if he can do return too well, I think he's a star.
Right now they have that's going to be another thing to watch, though. Mm-hmm. Back to that, that's going to be another thing to watch is the return position, because I think they'll be doing somebody different every time, because they don't really know. Campanaro will probably take most of them, because I guess that's who they're feeling most confident in right now. But they're going to want to see some other guys in that position. But they're definitely going to move it around, and we'll see what Tim White can do. I mean, if he shines at all and is good in that return position, I see them taking him over Campanaro just because of Campanaro's injury proneness.
Yeah, I'm excited. My X factor is going to be boring now. Ryan Jensen.
Okay.
It's time to.
I agree with that.
It's time to put up right now. Now you won't be going against the top D tackles. Mm-hmm. But I think Ryan Jensen will get a lot of play time. And if he can control that defensive tackle position, and then we see, for example, if we see the run game flourish, I would put a lot of that on Ryan Jensen because of his mentality. And he's a tough guy. He is, right? If you hit his running back the wrong way, he's going to come grab you and say something to you, right? And sometimes you need one of those guys on your team.
Yeah.
I want to see him dominate at the point of attack.
Yes. That's what you need out of the center.
Yes. Definitely. I want to see him push people off the ball. And I want to see you. I want to see you lead the inside run game. And if he does that, the Ravens can play with some pace, which we haven't had in a long time
since Rice, honestly.
Since Rice, so play with some pace. Be able to, if you need a yard on second down, pick it up. Pick it up. And so I think he's going to be the next factor. And then the issue I have is that they take him out. I don't know who's going to play the center. I mean, I know there's someone else is there, but
yeah, that's a position that really worries me. Like I said last week, that's the guy. He's calling the blocking schemes and all that kind of thing. Watching packages on the other side. He's the guy. It all starts right there. Mm-hmm. And as important as every position in the line is important. Your chain is only strong as its weakest link, right? Yep. So that position again, it's first person with the ball. Yeah. It literally, it's where it starts. And I think that position is incredibly important. I think we've seen some good centers. I loved Matt Burke. And after he left, we really saw a drop off. Mm-hmm. He was gone 2013. People coming right up the A gap. Yeah. Flacco, on his behind before it even started. So And since then, we've had a lot of guys in there that have played up and down, not too great. But I agree. I think that's going to be a position to watch, and that kind of ties into what I said about the run game. I think the run game is going to be, you're going to have to watch that and how well we do. And that's all going to start with the line.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, let me get a prediction. It doesn't have to be the score now. Give me a prediction. What do you think will happen?
I didn't preseason, so I didn't really know what to say for this. Honestly, I thought that it's hard to decide with preseason. I came up with two. One, just kind of normal. Flacco's not going to see the field. Yeah. I think we all kind of can say that, and I don't think that's too bold of a prediction. Yeah. I don't think he's going to play.
He better not see the field. I'd be upset.
I would be upset too, even for one. I would be upset.
If he gets off the bench, I'll be upset.
Just don't even come. Stay home.
Yeah.
Sit on the couch. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even be mad to not see him in the preseason at all. He can practice. I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. Put the red jersey on. Nobody touch him. Yeah, that's fine. Then again, you don't want him. You want him to have something going into the regular season, some kind of getting into it. So it is a lot of risk, though. It's a lot of risk just for a preseason game, to have him go down. Mm-hmm. It would be bad. My bold prediction for that is that the run game looks sharp, that we come out explosive, that we run the ball first. And this is a bold prediction because I don't see it happening. I'm really scared that we're going to be doing the same thing we did last week, especially with a weaker run game. If we ran the ball well last year, we did well, and then we would just stop running. We would have a drive sustain with the run game, and then be like, all right, well, we're going to pass for the rest of the time, and then stall, kick a field goal, and we're good. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm coming around on Tim Williams. If you guys know, I'm sure you guys saw that when he was drafted, I wanted to get a receiver. I'm coming around on him. I think he's going to have 2 or more sacks.
I'm happy with our draft.
Yeah, I think he's going to have 2 or more sacks this game. He's been very good in practice. I think he's going to be what we're looking for in the pass rush of the future, and I think that's the guy that we want. So that's my prediction. Tim Williams over 2 sacks. 2 or more sacks. Now my bold prediction is that I think that the Ravens defense is being coached up scheme-wise. I think that the offense of the Redskins will have less than 200 yards. I am super excited about Dean Pease. He's in tune with these guys. He's going to make things happen, and that's what I think. I think so. A great defensive performance. Tim Williams will have multiple sacks, and the defense will hold the Redskins at 200 yards. So
let's just hope we can get out of there without any injuries. Yeah. I am really excited for this defense this year.
Yes, I'm excited as well. So that was our game preview. Next week we'll have the game review and the preview for the next game. But right now we're going to move on to our game called Start, Bench, Cut. So you guys know the game Love, Marry, Kill. We give you 3 options. And you have to choose which player do you want to start, which player would you bench, and which player would you cut.
Right.
So we're going to go with the first scenario. So, Steven, start, bench, cut. Michael Campanaro, Tim White, and Chris Moore.
That's tough. Because mostly because I'm biased with this. I love Campanaro. I think if he got the proper field time, that he can be a real weapon. Mm-hmm. It's just he can't stay on the field, and he can't stay healthy. He's one of those guys that I don't know what it is. He's just not built right or what, but he can't stay healthy. So I'll take star Chris Moore. I think they like what they see out of Chris Moore. I think he's going to be a 4th guy.
Okay.
Right. Bench Tim White. I think he'll be back there. And they might cut Campanaro. That depends on the way, like I said, like we talked about before, the return game. Mm-hmm. if Campanero shines, because I think that's who they've got right now, and I think is punt returner and a kick returner. I can't remember. I think it flip flops with Chris Moore, who they're feeling okay with right now. It's going to depend in these preseason games. They're going to be looking at it. They're going to be switching guys out. If Tim White outshines Campanero in that situation, then they take Tim White and cut Campanero just for the injury thing. And I think aside from that, I think you can replace Campanero's production as a receiver with Tim White. I think he's got just as good of hands. Like you said, he's probably faster. He's got all the different facets that you need for a receiver. It's going to really, I think, depend on, like I said, how well he does in the return.
Okay. I would change it a little bit. I'm liking Tim White, and last year I was not impressed with Chris Moore.
Okay.
I was only impressed with his speed. I felt like he dropped a couple balls.
He did, yeah.
His route running was a little sloppy. And so what I would do is I would start Tim White, give him a chance. I think he's going to be a better returner than those two. You sit Moore, but you got to get Campanero out of town. Too injury prone.
Yeah.
And you see the Ravens have cut players who are injury prone.
Yeah.
Dennis Pitta.
Right. Gone.
Clark Gilmore. Gone. And
that's just this year. That's not even.
Right.
Yeah.
So, they gave Camp a chance. They gave Camp so many chances.
They gave him so many chances, and that tells me that they like him. They want to see something out of him. But I think it's if he gets hurt between now and regular season, he's gone. Definitely. Yeah. I don't even think it's a question at that point.
It gets old, man. This thing gets old. We can't do the same.
Although I think it's different though if he can get to the regular season. If he can get to the regular season, I think that's going to be a real tough, choice to make in the front office to whether take, Campanero or. But I wasn't too impressed with Moore last year, but he was a rookie, right? So, I think that. I think they like what they see out of him. He looked pretty good in practice. I mean, they were throwing to him a lot in practice. I saw he was making a lot of receptions. Didn't see too many drops. He looked good in routes, and that's something that you can kind of work on, right? That's something that you can kind of improve on. You can't teach speed. You can't teach certain things, but he's got the speed. And I liked that part of him. And the other thing I liked about him was he made 2 big plays last year on special teams. And that's what you want out of a guy. Yeah. You want the guy, that's where you shine, is special teams when you're a rookie and when you're starting out. You have to be in the right position at the right time. You have to be in the right place of the field. And he was. He was there. And
I think that's a great point that you just made, because we have to take into account that not only does he return kickoffs on punt, he blocks punts and he gets the ball and he runs into the end zone, right? And that's something like you can't discount, right? Mm-hmm. Even when I think the greats, right? Ed Reed was a great safety, right? Yeah, great returner. Let's not forget he blocked kicks too.
Yeah, dude, right? He was all around.
So like you said, we have taken the whole game into account, right? And so I think that's a good analysis by you. So here's the next one. Now that one was a little hard because I had to throw Tim White in there. He's a rookie. We really don't know. This one, I think we have enough information. Nick Boyle, Ben Watson, or Max Williams. Start, bench, cut.
Man. I think it's going to depend on how Ben does in preseason, what they see out of him. He's another guy. It's towards the end of his career. I wouldn't say injury prone, but he's coming off a pretty serious injury. To be at the end of your career coming off that type of injury, if he can get through preseason, I think they keep him. I don't think they want to just cut that loss. They took a chance on him. They paid him. They had him on the roster for a year. To just not get anything out of him, it would just be. Front office usually doesn't do that. They don't want to usually admit that they're wrong, right? So they're gonna probably keep him. I mean, more than likely. But Boyle is ahead of both of them on the right now, and they're saying they like him a lot, and I like him a lot. I think that he's that kind of guy. He's got all parts of what you need out of a tight end. But Max Williams was a draft pick. Where did they get Boyle from? Was that? He was
a draft pick as well. He was actually the same draft, but Boyle was a later round pick. Okay. Maybe Boyle was a 4 or 5, and Max was a 2.
So they're both draft picks, and they don't like to cut draft picks. So I don't even know if they'll cut any of them. because these might be the 3 tight ends we have. I mean, who else? I know there's some other guys in that, and Donnell just got hurt. So if he can even come back, and that's another guy they just signed, the chances of them just cutting him are slim. But
gotta play the game.
Yeah, so start Nick Boyle. I think they really like what they got out of him. He's a young guy. He shined well. He shined. I wouldn't say more, because Max Williams, when he's on the field, he's done well. I've seen him make some plays. He's big. He's to me, he's a lot like Crockett Gilmore. I really liked what I saw out of him when he was on the field. He didn't get enough play time. He couldn't stay on the field. He's another guy that's injury prone, and because he's injury prone, I'm going to say cut him. Okay. I'm going to say in this situation, out of these 3 guys, Max Williams is gone. You bench Watson, he'll be out there, but Nick Boyle will be the starter.
Gotcha. 100% agree. The only thing I want to add is I like Nick Boyle. I love Nick Boyle. That's my guy. If that's my dark horse, I love him. I think he plays aggressive. He has a I don't care attitude. I'll hit you in the mouth if I got to hit you in the mouth, and I'll run around you if I got to run around you. I like it. Ben Watson's a good leader. Have him on for support. Teach these young kids how to play. And then Max Williams. I'm not a big fan of Max. I think that his ceiling is not as high as people think, and I would cut him. But I think, like you said, all 3 are going to make the team. But so now we're going to move into our mailbag questions, and mailbag questions are submitted by you guys, the Raven Space community. Thank you guys so much. If you want to send in a mailbag question, please send it to theravenspace@gmail.com, and we'll get into the first question. And this first question is from Tony. And Tony asks, are there any training camp surprises so far? I have one. Tim White. Listen.
I was going to say the same thing, but I got another one, so go ahead.
Listen, you don't see undrafted players shine like this.
Okay? Right.
And not just like, you see like a player he may shine in preseason game 4, right? When there's no one else playing, everyone's taking it easy. But I mean, he's shining from day one. Yeah. And I'm super impressed by him. He surprised me. I did not think he was going to be the star of this class. The other undrafted wide receiver, I thought, I forgot his name, but
Quincy,
yeah.
See, I like what I saw out of him in training camp as well.
And I heard he has been getting good reviews. But I thought that he was going to be the star shining. But Tim White is just taking over.
Actually, me too. And then Tim White, like you said, you don't really see it that often. And, maybe they're putting him so low on the depth chart just to kind of hide him, kind of not show what they got going on. But I don't know. I have no idea what they're doing. I'm really hoping it's not because they don't feel confident in the guy. But we'll see. We'll see Thursday.
He smells like a guy that if you cut him, he'll hurt you somewhere down the line.
Yeah. So he'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
He'll be. He's got that. He'll be on a team.
He'll be on a team somewhere. Yeah. All right. So how about
my surprise? I was gonna say Tim White, but the play calling.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know if it's just practice, and that's what they do in practice. If it's because Joe's out and they're not, our backups don't have the arm. I did see some deep balls, but Mala couldn't hit them. I do not want to repeat of last year. Run the ball first, and they seem like they were doing that same sort of thing where they were, and you have Woodhead, so you're going to do that a little bit, but that same sort of thing where you supplement short passes for the run game. No. Run the ball first, pass second. That's the fundamentals of football. You're not going to get anywhere. I mean, you have to have one of the best offenses of all time to get anywhere with it. And you still have to have a defense.
And one of the best quarterbacks of all time. The only teams I've seen do it effectively is Tom Brady and his Patriots team.
Oh, look, they've had, I think, a top 10 defense every time they've won the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And defense wins championships. That is the truest thing. And if it wasn't, then the Falcons would have won the last one. So... you got to have a run game. You got to run it. You got to run the ball when the other team knows you're going to run the ball. That's when it's most effective. That's when you really are playing smash mouth football, and they can't stop you. Stop me then.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like it, stop me. And you got to run the ball. And we've got to run first. I can't say it enough. I mean, honestly, there was some other reasons we lost. I think Jimmy Smith going down was a big reason we lost a couple games. But maintaining drives, sustaining drives, pace, keeping it going. We had so many. How many times in that Steelers game last year were we on their side of the field but came up with either nothing or a field goal because we couldn't sustain the drive, we couldn't get into the red zone, closer to the goal line because we couldn't run the ball, or not even because we couldn't, because we didn't. We ran well against them. We just were like, nah, we'll throw the ball first.
It's tough. Yeah, I agree.
And it's surprising that they're going to go with the same thing.
I hope not. I hope not. You gotta throw the ball downfield, especially with Joe.
He's played to his strengths.
But here's the thing: Ryan Mallett has an arm. Like, listen, he might not hit it, but Ryan Mallett can throw this football now. Okay, that's his best ability, is that he has a strong arm. So I was surprised too when you told me that they were doing dinks and dives. I'm like, in front of the fans, let it fly.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 3 guys that can run, that are fast. Use them. That was my problem last year. You got Steve Smith on the roster. You got a quick guy with like Perryman. You got Wallace, and you're running. I mean, and like you said, Wallace, his strongest is probably the slant, and then he's gone. But come on, you got. There's a couple other routes in that tree that you got to use.
You're right. All right. So the next question is from Jeffrey, and Jeffrey asks, "Do you have confidence in the Ravens' running back game without Dixon?"
I don't know how much confidence I had with him in, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think that starts, again, with the line. That confidence starts with the line. Like I said last week, a good line can make anybody behind him look good, right? If Joe's back there all day, someone's bound to get open, and then he's going to shine. He's not going to shine when as soon as he snaps the ball, he's running around circles. And the same thing with the run game. I saw so many times last year where before West or anybody was running would even get to the line, there was already someone back in the backfield tackling him. You can't do that. You got to get some movement up front so that you can get past the line of scrimmage, and he can take off. It's not going to work when as soon as he's at the line of scrimmage, he's being tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Like, that's never going to work. So it starts with the line. And if we get a good line going, I have a lot of confidence in the run game if we have a good line going with the guys we got.
I was optimistic. I like Greg Roman.
That's another thing. I think that's going to change things.
And football is a special sport because it's one of the sports that is most effective by good coaching. Like, for example, even in basketball, if you have a great player, you can have the best coach in the world. He ain't going to beat LeBron James. He can't. You can have the best coach in the world. You can't beat the Golden State Warriors right now because their personnel is so strong. But in football, you can beat a great player with a good coach.
Yes. That's why I love football.
Yeah. And so I think that Greg Roman's going to give us a boost. Switching to the man run scheme is going to give us a boost.
I think that's going to be a big thing. I don't really understand zone.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's a tough concept to run. And it's just based on a running back finding the hole.
Yeah.
And hitting us as quick as he can.
Yeah.
And Justin Forsett was great at it.
Right.
He would find that hole, and he would hit it. The man run scheme needs to work, and I think it will work with a running back like Dixon. I don't know how Woodhead will run it. I think Woodhead is more of a zone runner, but we'll see. I don't know who's going to be the third running back right now.
That's like I said earlier. I
Is it Buck Allen?
Right.
And I like Buck Allen.
I do too.
When the Ravens were bad that season, really bad, and Kamari Kane was the number 1 receiver for us, he played well. But is he an NFL running back? Can he run at the highest levels? I don't know.
Well, that's what I said earlier. I have no idea, and I couldn't even remember between him and Taliaferro who was going to be playing the fullback, because that's just how little of a known name they are. In my mind, it just goes right over me. Forget it quick. You know what I mean?
Now, Taquan Mizzell might surprise us.
Yeah, but chances are,
right? Yeah, he's a rookie. So, well, we'll see. Right? Let's see. Confidence level is like a 6. No,
I agree with that.
Yeah. So that was the mailbag questions. Thank you guys so much for sending your questions. And that's the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, we're going to come back every single week on iTunes and on SoundCloud. On YouTube, we'll have the video.
Subscribe.
Check us out on Patreon. Check out the t-shirt store. We have some great new t-shirts. It's awesome. We're growing, and we're getting better every day.
Yep.
So thank you guys so much. My name is Jason.
Steven.
And go Ravens.